So the F20, F30 two-pot rear 345mm discs and caliper on the E86 Z4. This will fit, you know, both the E85s and the E86s. Quite a simple mod, a bit of trimming of the back plate. Apart from that, and some custom lines. Apart from that, it's pretty much bolt-on. Uses a stock handbrake as well, so no need for shoes or messing around trying to change, you know, the hubs to get to 185mm or 180mm, whatever they are, handbrake shoes. Yeah, all works. I've literally just taken it for its first spin, which is why there's still a bit of, you know, rust on the discs and whatnot as the pads are bedding in. But what I'll do is I'll film doing it on the other side and the steps taken and parts needed, to show you guys, you know, if you want to do this, how to do it basically. So this is what you're going to need for this mod. You need the F30 caliper. These come in two flavours, 40mm and 44mm piston. For my setup, the 40mm was better. It won't change once my fronts are on the brake balance. You want a 345mm disc from an M135. Obviously clips and whatnot. You need a custom brake hose with a 90-degree bend to go into the caliper, and then you need these offset bushes. So these basically just fit in there like that, and they allow you to orientate the caliper so it fits properly. How do you get these out? Dead easy. Screw a bolt in the back and then use a hammer and just tap them out. They come out pretty damn easily. There's these knurlings on them to hold them in, but yeah, they're not difficult to get out. The great thing about the M135i disc is it has the same handbrake size as a stock Z4 disc. You can see the difference in size there. There's quite a significant difference in the size of them, but the handbrakes are exactly the same, so there's no mucking around with bigger shoes or anything like that. Everything you got to do, you've got to trim the backing plate quite significantly. Well, it depends on how much you want to trim it. And it is a bit of a tight squeeze to fit the caliper between them, but it does go. So I'll come on to that bit in a moment. So hopefully you're through to this stage. If you can't get to this stage, this isn't for you, this mod. So in terms of the caliper, you need to cut the backing plate because it catches on the caliper. And once the actual fittings are in, it's really tight down there to get it in. So you can either cut this lip off, because this obviously contacts the disc, the disc's much a large diameter, so you can either cut round there, flatten it off, and then a cut sort of there and there, you'll see on the car when you get it. And I would recommend taking that off as well. But I'll be honest, these discs vent from the inside out rather than outside in like the stock ones. I want as much air to get to the back of the disc as possible, so I am just going to take it off around there, right the way around. So you'll need your angle grinder for that, for sure. But yeah, it has to be done. You either got to take it off there anyway. You can push the shield out of the way, but there's not a lot of room around the back there, so I'm going to take it off anyway. There we go. So not the best with an angle grinder, but that should kind of do it, I guess. The back of the disc will sit almost in line there with it, so it should be okay. Should allow for some nice air to get in there as well on track. So yeah, on to the next bit, which is trying to sort this frigging brake pipe that's completely stuck, corroded and shit. So we'll have to flare a new union on there, to be honest. So I'm starting to twist the brake pipe, but it's just annoying. Okay, so now with this kind of bent a little bit out of the way, I'll tidy that up afterwards to try and make sure it fits. Then this caliper now can slip in between it, you see, Now to get mine centralised on the disc, I do need a washer on each. So I'm going to try and get the disc on. We'll try and get the disc on, we'll get the disc on, and then we'll try and get this caliper fitted. And there we go. You can see those on. So with the washer in place, it is now perfectly central over the disc, which looks about right to me. Very pleased with that. So I've got it in gear, so there's a little bit of that play there. Let's just see with the handbrake. Handbrake out of gear. I've not adjusted the handbrake at all yet. Oh yeah. Fucking perfect. Brilliant. I'm made up with that. Now I just need to solve that stuck bloody brake pipe. Unfortunately it's now rounded and it's awful, so I think I have to cut it and flare the end and put another fitting on it, I think. So yeah, get that sorted and then we're done. Right, so this is what I'm dealing with today. Stupidly, I was trying to get this undone. I wasn't watching, and I just started to twist the pipe. So I can't get it undone. I've used heat. I've used a lot of lubricant, but as you can see, even with all grips on, it's just turning it. So Amazon and Halfords to the rescue. We've got a flaring tool, some unions. Luckily my custom pipe is a little bit longer than stock, so it should take up the tiny bit. I'm going to try and trim it around here, so it's quite straight. Yeah, let's see how we get on. And there we have it. Never done that before. Not really want to ever have to do it again, but I think it's on. So this was the end. I royally fucked up, but sorted it. So you want to use this bracket that attaches to the swing arm, and then obviously you can clamp your hose in place. What I'm going to do is, to get this out, I just cut a couple of notches with the angle grinder, and then we can push the new one in and take this one off. So I'll do this and then show you what I mean. There we go, that's what I was meaning. Just chop it out and then leave enough room to get the rubber protector in. Just hold it in place. Well, there we have it. I'm pretty happy with that. We've got a little hose protector in there to stop it freeing. We'll use some cable ties, my favourite thing in the world, to make sure it doesn't move. But I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest. These were a godsend. I think they were, I can't remember how much that was. It wasn't expensive. From Amazon, next day delivery by one, and the cutter as well. But those, absolutely bloody brilliant. So we've now got the braided hose on, hooked up to the caliper. We'll just pop it back on and get it all bled up, and then it's done. So there we have it, we're done. Brakes are on, fully bled up, using my able assistant, my 13-year-old lad, getting him involved a little bit. Yeah, fitment is good. Somebody asked me in my original post about the how far over the rear shoes it goes, so let's see if we can get this. You can see quite good really. It's only what, 5 or 6 mil maybe, so you've got all that pad still back down, so I'm pretty pleased with that. I'd say that's more than enough. But now we've got much larger diameter discs, much thicker discs, bigger pads and better cooling from the outside in, so overall I would say a win-win. Costs, I managed to pick these discs up for 40 quid, and I know they've got some rust on them, but they are new, so I was very lucky with that. Calipers, 150 to 200 roughly. Caliper spacers, the bolts, the eccentric bolts, about 40 quid to 60 quid depending on where you get them from. And the lines were made up by BRT Motorsport, next day delivery, fantastic service, 50 quid. What I'll do is I'll link in the description all of the parts, but also, you know, BRT, if you ring them up and just ask for these brake lines, they're the kind of guys I would go to be honest, because they know they've done them for me. So yeah, there we go, sorted. Give it a road test now. Try not to lock up their ears. So a few people want to mention this mod and talked about it a week or two ago on Facebook. They started talking about the brake bias. Now a far cleverer man than I, shout out to Peter Bonder for sending me a very, very detailed spreadsheet that works out brake bias based on diameter of the disc, swept area of the pad, piston size, pad size. It calculates everything for you basically. Yes, fitting these to a stock front braked car will increase the rear bias. It will move it slightly more rear, but only by about 3%, interestingly. Fitting these to, you know, a car that has maybe the Megane Brembos with the CSL 345 front brakes gives you almost the same brake bias as a 330 CI, which runs the same stock front brakes as us, but larger rears. So quite a good mod, I would say, and not really affecting things too much. That's with using the 40mm piston caliper. If you use the 44mm piston caliper, it sends it more rearwards because you've got more force. So I would recommend personally the 40mm, harder to find. The earlier calipers with a 40mm, there's a stamping on it that says P40 instead of P44, and that's how you tell the difference. You know, in terms of dimensions, they are identical. So if you've got like a, I don't know, maybe an M2 or M4 front setup, like 380mm front brakes, get the 44mm piston. But for someone not wanting to go over sort of 345mm front brakes, I would recommend probably going with the 40mm. It just seems to balance out the braking better. So yeah, there we go. Hopefully that answers enough of the questions, and gives you a chance to kind of do a similar thing.